This is something called the Caul of Inshallah. C-A-U-L, the Caul, like the birth membrane, the Caul of Inshallah. And it was published in River Teeth. And it's creative nonfiction. My baby was born on the brink of death with multi-system failures. One day in the 8th month, I felt him slip up in the womb, truant from his usual afternoon acrobatics. I reported this diminished activity and we ended the day with an emergency C-section. Doctors were stymied by his condition. 1 in a million, they said, cause unknown, and nothing to do but monitor him in his little ICU unit with all manner of wires attached to his crib and hope his body kicked in. Prayers poured in for him. He was prayed for by Sunni, Shia, Ahmadiyya, Sufi, Islamist, Salafi, Nation of Islam, and secular atheist Muslims, by Orthodox, Reform, Reconstructionist, and secular Jews, by Catholics, Episcopalians, Lutherans, an entire congregation of Universalist Unitarians in Arkansas whose minister visited me in the hospital, Mormons, Baptists, Methodists, Hindus, Buddhists, and Wiccans. Agnostic and ardently atheist friends offered good thoughts in lieu of prayers. A dark-haired, olive-skinned friend came in one morning and stood in a sort of asana and intoned over his crib. Family only, the nurses cautioned, but let her stay when they took her for clergy, and she really was ordained by internet. They probably thought that she was doing some sort of Islamic thing with her arms upraised like that, but she was actually an Italian-American from Long Island who believed in yoga and intoning in conjunction with her very Christian belief in Jesus. God doesn't need their prayers. One of my Orthodox visitors sniffed, dismissing the non-Muslims and heretics among them. But I and my family were not in the mood for turning away prayers from anyone. We had broken through to a place where all prayer came to one. The neonatal doctor told me in the early days when there was nothing really to be done about the baby's condition, but stand bedside and make such conversation, that he'd read medical journal statistics saying that patients who were prayed over tended to fare better than those who weren't. Survive the baby did, thank God, rallying after 7 weeks. In an unexpected recovery his doctors called miraculous. But this is not one of those proof of the power of prayer spiels. It is bad taste to talk about the ineffable so glibly. And for anyone who has prayed for the healing of a loved one who then dies, it is difficult not to hear in those well-meant power of prayer talks undertones of, you must not have prayed hard enough, or worse, you must not be among the deserving, as if God metes out survival from cancer or a hurricane based on some sort of reward. Yet I am going to talk about the ineffable, breaking my own rule. When my daughter, then 9, her name is Bana, by the way. When Bana asked me in those first uncertain days what was going to happen to her baby brother, I tented her under the sheet of my hospital bed and whispered, he's going to be okay. Either he will get better and come home, or he will leave us, and both those things, I said, although I had to take a moment. Both are good places for him. Both are sweetness and mercy for him. I mean, I struggled to find a better way to say it for her. Angels will hug him, here or there. So no matter what happens, he will be okay. See? My daughter, wise child that she is, saw. Jacob, son of Isaac, also got it. When Jacob's older sons bring him news that his younger son Joseph has been killed by a wolf, the Quran says he knows they are lying, but he knows still that his little Joseph is out there in some sort of terrible trouble, and there is nothing the father can do about it. Beautiful is patience, Jacob says, sabrun jameel. He says it twice over the course of the story, that Yoda-like, grammatically inverted phrase, beautiful is patience. It isn't that he's a cold one either. He weeps until his eyes are blinded, in the Quranic version of the story, from grieving the missing Joseph. Still, his heart has assurance in its bottom-scraping place. No matter where the boy may have gone or how he may suffer, the father knows because of some profound link he has with some deeper reality that the child will be okay. In the infinite womb of mercy that stretches beyond all possibility, nothing has been lost. Do not seek to be master in everything, Sophocles' Creon says in Oedipus Rex, for the things you master do not follow you throughout your life. What does follow you throughout your life? Yusuf Islam, in his Cat Stevens days, called it a moon shadow, in a song that says, if I ever lose anything precious, if I ever undergo extreme pain, some underlying resilience of heart stretches to encompass it. It is a song for Kierkegaard's Night of Faith, who knows that God's banquet is laid out in the here and now. I later read somewhere that it was this type of surrendering prayer that was shown to be a factor in the outcome of patients and their families, not prayers for a specific outcome. My more traditionally religious visitor, who had overheard my exchange with my daughter, chided me. How could you tell her he will be okay without even saying, Inshallah? You don't know that he will be okay. She missed it. My little girl and I at that moment were in the call of Inshallah, inside the womb of surrender. We were in the thin, in Celtic terms, the moment of permeability between worlds, also called the miraculous, as in the Celtic celebration of Samhain. We were detached from all moorings but detachment. There was nothing but Inshallah. Every breath we took under that gray-white sheet was Inshallah. The visitor understood okay in a limited, rational, human-centered way to mean he will get better. She mistook it to mean a specific result. It's all right. She was not under that veil with us. She had not just experienced childbirth. Though physically present, she was not in that liminal state of the thin. Surrender to all this luminous whatnot didn't mean we weren't trying to learn all that was wrong with the baby and why. I still sent friends to pull articles out of medical journal databases for me. It didn't mean I wasn't calling my Syrian doctor relatives long distance to go over what the baby's doctors were doing and asking them if we should second-guess treatment options. It didn't mean I didn't scream, my baby, in a horrified voice and lunge forward and the nurse have to hold me back when during our Arkansas summer thunderstorms the power went out and all his machines flickered, terror in my heart before they went to an emergency generator. It did mean I saw the baby's state unfolding in the hands of a greater power than the doctors, however, and did not see humans or their machines as the ultimate causal agents, whether the child's health succumbed or failed. And yes, this correlates to being less likely to pounce on a lawsuit as the answer if things do not go the way we want, which is not the same at all as passively accepting real malpractice. This is not the same as an embrace of irrationality or a turning away from science. Don't get that gleam in your eye, minions of Nietzsche. I didn't go all Oriental fatalist on you, and my ability to be an efficacious citizen of a modern democracy was not obliterated. But the afterglow of birth lasts only so long, and the heart moves from a state of grace to a state as dull as Ohio. It's been 4 years, and the boy is a dizzying handful who needs time out constantly, and we're back to things in their divisive, attached to outcomes, human meanings, the flat Midwest of the soul. The other day I flicked on a Family Guy episode and Chris Griffin, the affably dim-witted teenage son on this animated TV series, was playing with dead rats on puppet strings. How many times in a week do I do that? Not playing with dead rat puppets literally, but meeting the human experience with my snarky, cynical face. I do snarky especially well. Why am I so dim-witted most days when there is also such beauty and joy in the things people do with each other, in the oneness of being? I delight in the fact that my baby was prayed for by many different kinds of believers, was prayed for with joyful abandon, with sorrowful surrender, with purpose. Yes, here it comes, so we can get our rat puppets out if we are feeling snarky. It was all good. I say this knowing the outcome was the baby lived and has flourished. If things had gone differently, if the insight had been gained at an even higher cost, it would be much harder to say this, and yet I think still possible. In that case, it would have been called letting go. It's still a letting go when the outcome is the one you want. We swam in the womb of sweetness and mercy for a small while, helplessly, and a moon shadow follows us ever since to remind us that this state is always there, should we wish to seek the pathways to it.